Greetings, everyone. I'm Scott Rodell here at the Great River Taoist Center, home to our Academy of Chinese Swordsmanship, and this is episode 3 of the Feijian series. If you caught the first 2 episodes, and I suggest you do because I don't want to be repeating myself and boring anybody as I go through this process. You saw those first ones, you see what we're really doing is what I'm really doing is working on throwing and different types of throws from different places and thinking about working on how I'm going to put that together with my sword drawing skills, because this was something that was done in China, historically speaking, largely been forgotten. So I'm looking to bring it back a little bit here with my own practice. So if you haven't already seen the tutorial, the video on the Chinese fast draw, the link for that is below. Please have a look at that. I think it'll make a lot of sense what I'm doing with the throwing knives, with the daggers, and how I want to put that together with a fast draw. So, but before we get into today's throws, I'm going to look at the 2 underhand ones from here and from here. Before we get into those, I want to answer a question or think about something common question that comes up with everybody starts doing this and thinking about it, not just for throwing knives, but perhaps a martial use, or as I am thinking about historically, how that would go together with other sword techniques, and when would you throw your knife, or if you throw your knife? The question is, well, how much damage can you really do? I mean, why throw your weapon away? It's a good question. Obviously, that's going to depend on your circumstances. Where is your Fang? How many are there? Are you surrounded? Do you need to use that throw? Or are you going to use that throw to kind of follow in and come with a cut? Or are you going to use that throw to make a space to run like hell? Whatever you're going to do, is it a good idea to throw that knife away? Can you really hurt your Fang enough to really distract him, slow him down, make him be like, uh-oh, he's going to throw another one? So that's a good question. I think everybody's question everybody has, certainly a question I had. And it's a simple test I think we can do for that. And that's okay. This is a good solid piece of oak here. And you can see if I get a good grip on my dagger here and I really in, like that's nothing. I can just with 2 fingers take that out. No problem. Maybe you can hardly see those little holes that you put in this way. So I'm going to give this a good with the body, good mechanics into this. And it's like, well, nothing to take it out. It's barely in there. You can hardly see the hole. So, that's not very much. What about, how would that compare to a throw, right? So if I'm in here, and again, I'm looking to throw from close distances, but just throw it in there like that, you can see, well, I mean, just look at the size of the hole. It's really different. So just to the question of whether or not it's effective in how much damage you can do, I think the question is absolutely yes. Try this test at home. If you're into throwing, give it a go and you'll see. Yeah. And by the way, I am still, really at the beginning of stepping my skills up bit by bit. And I'm really not throwing with a lot of power yet. I wouldn't say that was a particularly powerful throw. People with more experience would probably throw at about twice as much power as that. So even with a very quick, medium power throw, I'd say that you can really see the difference. So if you hit your Fang, he's going to notice it. All right, let me move the target. We're going to take a look at these 2 underhanded throws. We looked at previously in episodes 1 and 2, the overhand throws coming from this side. I'm still working mostly with my right. Just take a look at the right of these quick, how we're going to use these throws coming from the lower part. And that was going to complete for me my first set of 4 throws that I'm working on to put it together with my sword drawing. So let me move the target back. In the earlier episodes, I talked about these first 4 throws I'm looking at. So it's going to was the overhand here. I'm coming at you, overhand here. And today we're going to look at the 2 underhands kind of coming from behind the back here, up from underneath, and then coming up like this. One thing that's really helps me, and I think this would be true for anybody, is I'm using my martial experience, my Taiji trend to really inform how I'm doing this. And in some sense, I would say I'm just doing Taiji trend with throwing knives. This first movement is that I'm going to do from behind, from the hip here, coming up like this, coming up here like this, a little bit high there. That one I really think is a lot like a thrust coming in. So if you think about how you're using your waist, driving up from the legs, it's coming up for a thrust like this. So if you just think various forms, you have different ways of doing your thrust, performing that. If you're coming in straight like this, thinking about going in straight, that's, I think, really important here. You want to really shoot that in. Had a couple of thoughts as I was working on this. That one's really a little too high. And that is that, I'm kind of mixed feeling about this one. It's coming from here, it's hidden. So that's good, as it comes up. Well, that's going like that right on the center there. As I'm coming up, I can keep it hidden from my Duifeng, but to do that, I'd probably have to have my sheath and my knife at the small of my back there like that, And I never really liked that idea. I know historically sometimes different cultures did carry knives there like that, but I always feel like, well, then somebody coming up from behind me could grab my knife and use it on me. So I don't know, I have real mixed things on. The other side of that coin, though, is if I'm here, if there's my Duifeng, I'm about 3 steps away as usual. My Duifeng's over there. He's at a distance. Just put my knife down here for a second, right? He's at a distance, right? We might be at a distance where, okay, we're both, especially we haven't drawn, can't draw and cut. If we were already in sword play, we'd be already a little bit close, but I'm thinking before that. So if that's my situation, okay, my Duifeng's back there, I can really follow this through with a very nice step, even though I'm a little bit further back. I don't want to go off screen here, but I could be a little bit further back, put my throw in, and right away step in. So that's really nice there, right? If I have my knife, let's say if I have my Jian there, as I throw that one in, follows really nicely for like a good liao cut, or it could come over top for a P cut. Either one would be great. Horizontal toe cut, depending how close my Duifeng is. So I really I like it, but I have that question about it being here. So it also, again, always depends on the situation, where exactly Duifeng is, how quickly to get my knife out. If I see trouble's coming and I've already gotten my knife, maybe I had it hit in my sleeve or something, I've got my knife out, I might be, kind of here showing them that I got my sword, start looking at my sword, waiting to see for me to go for my sword, and I first go there and then come for my sword. So interesting one. Let's look at that grip again, One thing I like, same thing in my sword play, is I like to use the same grip. There are some systems, not Chinese systems, but other systems of swordsmanship I've seen. I think anybody interested in historical swordsmanship has, can't help but throw what does. Anybody who's interested in historical swordsmanship has looked at, other things out there, and I've seen systems where they change, and of course, lots of different grips are in use. I never liked the idea of changing my grip during swordplay. It's so quick. I mean, how am I supposed to change my grip up? So never liked that idea. And I use that, grip you see in the Wudang manual. The thumb is over the middle, 2 fingers. Anybody studying me is familiar with this grip. It provides you with a very loose, very adaptive hand. So I like that. And same deal here. I've mentioned how I'm using the thumb on the back right on the back of the blade there. It's a quick transition. Some people will call this a saber grip. It's a good term for it because later European military saber uses that grip. So I like that. The other thing I like about it is it's easy. You see when I do this next throw from here, if you're like this, and a lot of people throw like this, and those guys are much more skilled than I am, bang, and they're hitting a small target using the index finger like that. It's so easy, right? You just point. It's great. But you have to transition, and how do I draw it from my, So I like that. You just have a grip, boom. You have your dagger in your hand. You go to there, quick and easy. It's done. Especially from here, though, here when we're throwing it this way, when I go here, over top, ooh, little over rotation, over top, you're sliding it on the thumb, right? This something anybody would tell you, right? Again, I'm not an expert in this, but this is, I think, the common step everybody knows. Here, as you're sliding this up, sort of like it's slipping along, you kind of made it like a little tube of your hand there, and then you're using the thumb to guide it. So, as I mentioned earlier, I'm using my Taijujin, but also I was feeling like I'm putting my thumb, like if I come here, putting my thumb kind of on the target and extending rather than flopping my hand and being sloppy like that. So if I'm going to go here, I'm going to slide it just up along the thumb like that. And you see my hands here, very easy to bring that right around get my jin, come up with a cut. So great throw. And you probably notice it now. I'm stepping and moving around a lot. I think maybe this is one way that what I'm doing is a little bit different than those who just throw knives to throw knives for the fun of that. I want to really be thinking about how I'm going to put it together with my fast draw. And if I'm at, this kind of distance, Dui Feng is over there, and neither of us is drawn. Remember, if he's in a ready position, I'm not going to do that. I might throw and step back and get away if he's already ready. Or, I don't want somebody this close with the sword already in his hand and I haven't drawn mine. But if neither of us is drawn, we're just at a distance here. And with this throw, I can come right up. See, I stepped right in, and now, I could really get my sword into action. So I said, I love the throw. I like doing it with that step. You can do it, of course, without stepping, with either foot forward. I really like doing it with that step. I'm putting it together with that. I'm thinking about doing my drawing. I'm going to definitely be drawing and cutting, throwing and cutting some bamboo once the spring really rolls along. You'll see that on future episodes. But anyway, that's why I really like this one, because it comes right out from there. I just got to think about that draw a little bit. Again, I don't really like having a blade sitting there at my back, which I can get, but maybe also somebody else could grab and use against me. So thumb on the back is really nice there, slides it up. A second throw that I'm working on, or the fourth of my four, is coming up this way. If this first one here, if that is a thrust, thinking of a thrust, this next one is like a liao cut. Liao is literally lifting. It's an upward drawing kind of cut like this. It can be done real quick as a snap, but also it's done as a real big, powerful, driving up kind of cut like that has a lot of slashing action. It's really, really very powerful cut. I have with a jin cut through a double mat with a bamboo core that's thicker than a leg. So it's a very powerful cut to issue. Very much the same as I come here. I'm not going to throw it to where they can, but I go up here. Again, I really like this grip for here. I was thinking about this as I was working my underhand throws here. It'd really be tricky to, at least I find, to come all the way around and go with that index finger from here, because that's having to turn the hand a little bit more. And my wrists are pretty loose from a lot of sword play, and that feels just a little bit tight to me. Whereas if I'm here versus here, just that little less of the wrist turn makes that a lot easier throw. And again, thinking about putting it together with a sword draw here, I want to come up, boom, I'm going to extend in to my target, and then come right back for my throw, or excuse me, right back for my draw. So I would throw and come back and probably use a nice liao cut there. I think that could be pretty disconcerting to the Dui Feng because, again, as I mentioned, go back and see episode 2 if you haven't. If I have the scabbard here in my belt, or maybe I have it hidden, I can sneak underneath here and draw it. Wherever I have that knife, if it's near where I have my scabbard here, that's hard for the Dui Feng to tell, but Dui Feng's over this way. Which way am I going to come? If I go here, throw that up, right? We looked at last time throwing down. If I come up from here, he would be maybe expecting that liao cut, right? But there's going to be that moment where brain goes, wait, what? And then I do liao cut. So it's expecting a liao cut, the knife comes flying at you. Oh, it was a knife, not a blade. It wasn't a sword. And then a sword comes. Might be effective. Of course, in any instance, who knows? But again, this one is just kind of the reverse of here, just up. Instead of using that P cut kind of body mechanics, coming from my Jianfa, I'm using a liao cut kind of body mechanics. And here I'm moving forward. I'm doing that partially to stay on camera here, but I could do this moving back. So I'm here, going to come up this way. Think of just as with your cut, extend through. Common error with liao cut today, very common, is you see people cut and draw back where here. Once you cut, you want to be in to follow up, take advantage of the liao cut. Liao cut's a very powerful cut. Often doesn't land because it's a big cut, but it clears the way for a next cut. So if you liao and then pull back, you lost everything that you gained from that liao cut. So same thing here. I want to throw, and then I'm right back. Ooh, I like that, right? I love it when it goes right in the center. Who doesn't love that? Okay, So real quick again, the next time, there's going to probably be a little more of a break between episodes here because I've really got to work on my left hand. I got to work on this spear kind of throw. This is a common thing you see in the Feijian also is a throw like this, like you're throwing a javelin. And I need a lot more work on that. I'm really new to that. So recently, all I really changed was going from here to here. That wasn't such a hard change. And I'm just got to level up my skills, polish them up, switching the grip. That's going to take more work. And spring is here, so I'll be able to throw out in the garden. So one last time real quick, going to come up from underneath and then again, up from underneath. That's our 4th rows to start. Thank you, everybody. I really hope this is interesting. I'm having a lot of fun doing this. It's a really different sort of set of videos for me. If you're enjoying them, please do check out the Academy of Chinese Swordsmanship. The link, of course, is below. We always love those subscriptions. They help us support and support the art. Hit the bell so you hear updates. Until next time, stay strong. Thanks, everybody. 再见.